How do you befriend an empath? We're going to find out today. Welcome to Soulful Journey.
Soulful means something that's heartfelt, deep, and profound. To journey means to travel from one place to another. This show is about deep and heartfelt discussions about where we are, where we're headed, and where we've been. It's a place where we highlight memorable moments we've had. This show is about everything and everyone that is good for the soul.
You are progressing, and your path is clear. If your purpose was fulfilled, you would no longer be here. You are in the right place, and everything is just fine. When we stay open to the possibilities, it's the process. That's the reason in the rhyme, everything happens in perfect time. Everything happens in perfect time. When we start to rush, we lose our minds. No need to speed up, no need to rewind. Have faith and take your time. Enjoy the rising and the setting of the sun. Enjoy the journey of one. Your blessings will fall in line. When in the moment, you are destined to shine. Just surrender and take back your peace of mind. Just surrender all and take back your peace of mind. The seasons are unfolding. But if you run too fast, the trees become blurry and we become blind to the Creator's will and design. Unplanned events add suspense. You're developing your courage. You're developing your confidence. When we walk in with intuition, when we open up our hearts and make up our minds, worry and frantic fear, it sometimes erupts. So we have to slow down and fill our spiritual cups. Because when we are full of grace and faith, we can build, dream, and climb. And we know that it'll all work out fine. Why? Because everything happens in perfect time. So this time, it is the time to bring more guests onto the show. And in full disclosure, this next guest was here for me in divine perfect time because I didn't know if I was in full confession. I didn't know if I was going to make it today. I was feeling a little low, but that's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for. That's a song I grew up hearing. Today we're talking about friends. What does friendship mean to you? And we're talking about empaths. I am an empath, so it's not always easy being a friend to an empath. But how do you do that? Let's look at it. I posted something on my page earlier this week, and it was by Myra Moon, and she said the empath, I used to think I was introverted because I really liked being alone, but it turns out that I just like being at peace. And I am very extroverted around people that bring me peace. Woo-wee. Yes. So that it comes from an empath to another empath, and it really resonated with myself and my guests. And I'm going to have her come on without any further ado. I'm going to introduce her. She is a lot of things. She represents people who are so creative in so many ways. She's a multi-potentialite. A lot of empaths are multi-potentialites. She's multi-passionate, if you understand that. She creates jewelry. She is a Reiki practitioner, certified Reiki practitioner, and she also makes jewelry not just for humans but for pets. And she is really just an all-around amazing creative. So I want to introduce you to my friend Dana L. Arthur, and let's say welcome to her. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good.
Let me take the maracas. I got a chance to finally have you on the show. This is Soulful Journey. You know, one thing we do, Dana, you and I both are empaths, and we both love mindfulness. And one thing I always like to start the show off with is this 1 minute of mindfulness. So, would you like to take a deep breath with me? Yes. Okay. So let's do it together. Let's take 1 minute to relax with our breath. Feel yourself breathing in and feel yourself breathing out without trying to control your pattern of breathing. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and notice how every breath is different from the next. It's the same with life, ever changing and ever evolving. Whatever is going through your mind right now, you can't let it slip away. And just for this moment, we can come back to harmony because you are safe, you are accepted, you are forgiven, and you are loved. So thank you so much for being here. How did that make you feel? Better? I know it can be stressful coming on a show like this that's all the way live, but you're so courageous. And thank you for being here with me. And
You're welcome.
I just wanted
Happy
to
to be.
I just wanted to start by asking you, like, what did it, when you heard that quote about being how you feel introverted around some people and extroverted around others who bring you peace? Why did that quote resonate so much? Because I noticed you posted that quote too.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely resonated with me because it shows the duality in my being, because sometimes I am very much, I enjoy my company. I can keep myself very occupied. I have so many interests and things I love to do and curious about lots of things. So I kind of feel, in my home is my sanctuary, and I don't have a lot of friends, but the friends I have, they're near and dear, and they know me, and it's a good, safe, loving relationship. It's hard when you have an empath as a friend. It's an emotional commitment. You have to be kind. You have you have to
Yes, you and I know from experience.
yes,
Yes.
it makes you rise to your higher self, because we try to be we always try to love and take care of people, and not want to hurt anybody's feelings. So we want the same. So it's interesting, especially
It is.
my friends are special. Yeah, and
And I'm
most of my
so
friends are
grateful.
empaths too.
I'm so grateful to be
Yes.
amongst your circle of friends.
Hey,
Um, when I think about that quote, I also think about you and all of the things that you do to take care of your soul and your spirit. So how do you do that? And like, what feeds your spirit? This is a soulful journey. What feeds your spirit, and what makes you feel like you're healing when you're not around someone that brings you a sense of peace, especially as an empath?
when I'm not around.
Yeah.
I can. I mean,
Ground yourself.
to. I mean, I used to be more reactive and buttons pushed and all kinds of stuff, and a person can take you on a trip you didn't pack for sometimes, so to speak. But I've learned to basically, just accept a person, and love them, send love to them, and not react. I've it's an evolution. I don't react like I used to because I'm more self-possessed now and mindful. So that helps.
Yeah, it does. Let's talk about some of the creative work that you are doing and what you are doing in the world. Um, there's some of that creative, like you're one of the most creative people I know, like with the jewelry and like all of that. Like, can you tell me more about that? Like, does that bring
I just
peace?
big time. I mean, for example, I've been yesterday. I was a little stressed out because my mom's in a nursing home, and there was cases of COVID there, and then I watched the news, which I probably shouldn't have did, And it was, the constant, repeating of the numbers and how bad it is, and you ain't seen nothing yet, and I was getting anxiety building up, and because I internalized, I feel, we feel things a lot deeper, and so what I did was I channeled that. I stopped, turned it off. I did Reiki on myself to calm myself down, which I felt immediately. It was like I just like exhaled, and then I made some amazing jewelry. I just designed about maybe 10 bracelets. So I was on a roll last night, and it channeling that anxiety into creativity that's the way to go. I mean, I during the last pandemic surge, I made so much beautiful jewelry, and I was in my own little cocoon, creative cocoon, and that saved me. Seriously.
What does it mean to yeah.
Hmm?
So what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's saved
Question.
you. Okay, yeah. So I was just thinking about like when I was looking at the definition of an empath, is usually someone who can feel other people's auras and very sensitive people, right? And you define yourself as that, or how do you define empath?
Well, yeah, I definitely, I didn't know what it was. I mean, but I've always knew when someone was not feeling right. And a lot of it was almost spooky. You know what I mean? It's like I always could, no, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Well, something really major happened and I picked up on it. So I've always been able to, and it, a lot of people come to me and talk to me all the time, tell me things. And I mean, it's coming really handy with Reiki, because Reiki is about tuning into someone's energy so you can help them. You know what I mean? Whether it be with a pain that they're having or some emotional energy they need cleared, that I help them with. So most really good Reiki practitioners and masters are empaths of one kind or another. So
Can you do?
But it's mm-hmm.
But it's go ahead.
Can I do? No, I was saying, but it's like I can feel people's energy and feel their, a lot of times with my friends, I know, I'm always a good listener, and so I try to be a good listener, and I love my friends. So
friendship for empaths, it has to be, I feel like, something that's truly meaningful, right? It has to be grounded in, for us, for me, like, for example, like I need like some space sometimes to like, if someone says, well, can you call me right back? Depending on where my mindset is, and like if I'm like, it's being in my creative space, if I'm writing a poem or something like that, I'm like really in it. So it's kind of like for introverts and extroverts. It feels like sometimes, right? So other empaths get it. So it's like, okay, yeah, take your time, and they can like get it, and that's what I enjoy about you, is that you are you've always given me space, you know what I mean? Like to be myself. And I think when people do that, it's really, that's when you feel at home. And I think empaths really need to feel at home, because we are so a lot of times very compassionate and sensitive beings. But that also means we can attract people who are the quite opposite, because when I think about empaths, I also think about people who are like warriors of the light, or like people who are like out here, doing amazing things, sometimes making something out of nothing.
right.
But I love this quote, because this quote came up to me when I think about that. It says, the power of light. It says, light does not resist or avoid darkness. It merely includes it. It welcomes it and loves it. Thus, darkness disappears into the light. Light is not afraid of the shadow, for it knows the appearance of the shadow is the first sign of illumination. And that's a quote from Everyday Wisdom by Paul Ferrini. And
it's beautiful.
You love that too? Because you see, my definition is a little bit more like, I feel like that's and I see Urel, he said, yes, he's in the chat, he says, yes, as we level up, we get more obstacles. Yes. So sometimes as we are leveling up, some people who may be like, ooh, have you ever heard of energy vampires? They'll be like, oh, I love your energy. Or I love that they can see that light in you. But
you have a light. They say that you have a light. That's what they say. You have a light. So they want to be in that light,
yes, they do. They want to be in that light, and that's good. But have you ever had an experience where someone wants to be in the light, but they also want to take the light, and you're like, okay, but then you have to set your boundaries. How have you done that? Or can you like, for somebody who's listening, who's in another somebody who's really like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was an empath. Because how I found out was I was super sensitive. Was like when I was growing up, there was like a show that people were like would watch like a black and white TV back then. That shows again showing how old I am, and it was like these characters called the Three Stooges, and they would be like beating each other up. But I don't know if everybody else was laughing, and I was almost crying, and I was like, "What's wrong with me?" And that's when I realized I was a little bit more. I was just different, and I was a little bit more sensitive to what I felt like might be pain, or something that somebody was faking to pretend and going through, and not feeling, but I could feel it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
I definitely. I mean, I used to be like that with cartoons because cartoons are pretty violent, and I never really. I mean, I used to be, ooh, Tweety Bird, ooh, I mean, to get a big bump on his head.
The cartoons were real violent back then. Yes.
Yeah, they really were. So
but what about when? Yeah. But what about how did you find how have you ever been in a situation where you were with a friend or somebody who thought was a quote unquote friend, and they kind of took advantage or thought that your kindness was weakness? How did you find a way out?
I mean, that's the norm. I mean, because everybody's not your friend, but you're in life. You're dealing with a lot of different people, and whether it be your coworkers or people. I mean, and you smile. The fact that you're smiling all the time and you're friendly, it's like it automatically people think, or, that you're easy, or that you're soft, or weak, or something like that, or if you cry because something is hurting you, you're feeling something and you let it out, that's a sign of weakness. But I'm like, I mean, I used to try to suck it up and be like everybody else, and to my own detriment. But I mean, I've learned that that's a gift. You know what I mean? Being able to show your emotions and let it out. And I mean, I've seen people who keep everything in check, and they're paying for that now with their health. Because we can release it and let it go. It's gone.
Yeah, you can.
Right?
You can.
Mm-hmm.
You can release it and you can let it go. It's not always easy, but you can do it. And
do that. I mean, I've learned to do that. I mean, part of it is being doing Reiki as a practitioner. You're really kind of manipulating energy. So it's really it's been very good for me, especially someone who's been through a lot of trauma in my life that kept kicking up all the time at odd times. I mean, you think you did your work and you're okay, and all of a sudden somebody says something or you watch something on TV and it's like it's back.
you get triggered.
Yeah, so I've kind of noticed that, one of the things I've noticed is that I'm not getting triggers like I used to. And if I do, I'm able to really handle them better. So it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. And I'm so happy that you fell into Reiki and just started learning more about it. Now you're a certified practitioner. Can you explain it to somebody like almost like they're a 5-year-old, for somebody who might be listening and they're not, what is Reiki? Like, can you explain it to them?
Yeah, it's God energy. It's basically universal energy. We're all energy. Our trees are energy. People are energy. We all have the ability to heal. And so I've learned. There was a Japanese monk who discovered this energy, Dr. Sui, and he taught a lot of this in the 1800s. He taught a lot of other monks, and it kind of disappeared for a while, but then it came back. And anyway, so it gives. I'm able to be a channel for energy, like basically help people, whether it be emotional or physical, and help them feel better. So it's they're doing it actually a lot of hospitals, Mayo Clinic, Columbia Presbyterian in New York. They have Reiki practitioners in the operating room with them, working with them. So Dr. Oz is like a big a champion for Reiki, but I really would like to actually do medical Reiki. That's what I'm going to be learning to do in the winter. So yeah, so I can work with people.
Well,
But basically channeling universal energy for healing purposes, all good, and it's like love. It's just like
yes.
it's
And can you do it for yourself? Like to
I can do
yourself?
it for myself, and I could, I could. This is an attuned process you go through to kind of bring it up, and I literally could feel my hands vibrating when I'm doing it. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm sorry. First of all, it kind of freaked me out a little bit, but it makes me feel so much better. And I've seen people come, when they came in, they were hurting, and I was able to help them. So that was good. That makes me feel so good.
Well, I'm happy that you are helping people, and that's why I wanted to highlight you. And I'm so proud of you. And this is almost like a celebration. So again, you just got the certification, so I want to shake the maracas, right, and really say, I'm proud of you for following your dreams and going that untraditional path. But the destination is always health and wellness. Right. So I'm excited for you. We have a comment in the chat. It says, Dana L. Arthur, your skin is glowing outstanding garb as well. So you got compliments on your garb and your earrings. And
Thank you so much. I made them.
Yes, you made those earrings. And even go ahead.
I Reiki infused my jewelry and put the good energy in it. So people have always told me, even before I learned Reiki, that my jewelry on, that it just feels like love. You know what I mean? Because I love what I do. I really I'm that's my passion is making jewelry. So it's only a natural. The two kind of work together. I wanted to mention that one thing that with me getting this certification and the timing of it and COVID, it's a little disheartening, that I can't be as interactive as I want to be with people, for obvious reasons. So I'm gonna, mainly use it for myself for now until things get a little better. So.
Well, I understand how that can be disheartening for you, but you have been doing long distance Reiki too, and I have to say that I was someone who was one of the first people that you did that for it, and I've been healing, with some of my own physical ailments lately, and you've been so helpful for me. So I want to say thank you for that. And I do believe that, energy never dies. And the fact that the more we learn about energy and all of these things, it's so important. And I one of the people that's in the chat is Jarrell, and him and I on Clubhouse every Monday, he has a show about how to heal yourself too. So I hope you can make it on there sometime, because the conversations get really, really deep. And but I want to talk to you now about another segment of the show that I always do, which is I'm hoping you brought something that you can share, or like this is a show and tell segment, and I want to see if there's something like a quote or like a book that you want to share with us that like brings you inspiration and hope.
Yeah. Actually, this is something that's very recent. This is not like a lifelong favorite book. This is something that someone who is in tune with me and where I'm at now gave to me to kind of help me push the envelope. And, well, to give you a little backstory, I'm a New Yorker, native New Yorker, and moved here 10 years ago from New York to Florida. And since I came here under like traumatic circumstances, and as a result of that, I kind of like stopped living. I mean, as far as like getting out and meeting people and doing things, I just kind of had like a real home life, and I was, for some reason, just because I'm usually like to go to museums and plays and do things, but I was doing any of that. So my mentor gave me this book because, it's like it's hard to start. Like, where do you start, to step out of your comfort zone, and start doing things to kind of bring, some movement in your life. So she gave me this book.
And it says, do one, here we go.
Thing that scares you.
Do one thing do one thing every day that scares you. Woo, okay.
And it's a journal. And the journal has a lot of questions. And it gives you tasks like, go on a road trip, it talks about travel, how travel expands your mind. And, so you plan, where did you go? So it's like, short daycations or, just like throughout the whole year, I'm going to start, filling it up, with all kinds of experiences. I mean, I went to a block party. They had like, in St. Pete, where just dancing in the street. And I'm like, that's definitely not, I would normally have.
That's not you. But you were out there.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Like, just like a child, like with the innocence of a child, just out there dancing it up, like nobody's watching, huh? Oh, I wish I could see.
We always have fun though. When you and I get together, that out of the introvert.
Yes. And because we're both very sensitive, going back to that empath though, we have not, they see us laughing right now, but Dana has given me, oh, okay. She has given me like, how do I say this? Let's just say we have been to hell and back. Me and this one, we have been to hell and back. But when you have a true friend, when you can like go like all the way there with them, like, look, because this X, Y, and Z, I don't even remember. Sometimes it's like something silly or minor though. And that's what's so sad. Is like
I can't remember. I like what
I can't even remember what we were mad at each other about. Can you?
At the airport, we like, didn't even say goodbye. But what I can say is we both don't hold grudges, and that's been a couple of occasions. But out of all these years, I think that has made us closer because we've forgiven each other or put it aside. Like, it's not right, wrong. I mean, it's like it's we agreed to disagree on some things. It's no, and it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I know that my intention is good. I want nothing but the best for you, and I know the same thing. So as long as you really know that, you can have a true friend, no matter what.
No matter what, and that's so key. And just knowing that you can give someone space, and you gave me space, I gave you space. Is there one thing that if somebody wants to be friends with you and they know you sensitive, what's one tip you could give to them? Like, if somebody's like, well, wow, I wish Dana like me. Like, what would that be? What I love about you is that you're transparent. You're also very transparent, I think.
Yeah.
And that helps with empaths.
I say what I say. I try not to be hurtful when I talk to people. I'm overly cautious about, being, trying to do things in a way that, make people feel good. I want people to feel good. I want to be a catalyst for that. So I guess I would like that, because some people are just kind of mean-spirited. They just get, mess with you for sport. And I don't get that, so I would say that doesn't work for me. And that probably couldn't be a friend of mine, because I've had friends like that. And after a while, you just like, every time you leave them, you're like, why did you say that? Or it's, you're always wondering what the innuendo is. So, but that's part of the sensitivity of an empath. We can pick up on nuance. We pick up on the nuances that most people.
But I think that's why some people run the opposite way with us too, because they kind of know. It's almost like we're reading. It's not. I wouldn't say we can read minds, but there's a level of sensitivity, and there's different people. Some people they can read. They can not just read auras and energy, but they can also, some people, even with nature, they can look at a crystal and they can feel certain things that other people can't. Right. So it's deep, like, and it can be a blessing and a curse, right? Being sensitive.
Yeah.
But as long as you are, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead,
I was
sis.
saying, have you ever been disappointed? Like, you thought you knew somebody really well, but you look in their eyes and you're able to see something that's not insincere, or you pick up on, you're like, damn,
I know who you telling. Okay, that part. That's what I'm talking about. And these types of gifts, some people like try to like dismiss, but as the older you get, and the more you see these patterns, you're like, oh, wait, I'm not crazy. Maybe this whole world is crazy around you, right? But you kind of have to be, the more and more you see, you get to start to trust yourself and trust, who you are. Like I was just looking at that, like, you just kind of, you're an observant person, the empath. So, and this show is really
was your family
an empath. Go ahead. Was my family what?
Were your family sent? I mean, because like a family of all empaths, and they're all like really loving, cool people, and then there's like the one little oddball empath and a bunch of suck it ups.
Yes, I was around the suck it ups. I'm like, oh, so I'm supposed to deny this emotion? And then what happens when you try to deny the emotion after they done hit you across your head, verbally and physically? And what happens to your body? I was one of those, right? You're trying to like suck it up, but what sucking up is like you're denying the process of healing. And that's real. Yes. Is real, and that's why breath is life, and that's why you see me breathing at the beginning of this show, because I'm there for my fellow empaths. I'm there for y'all because I know, if other people are feeling it, we feeling it like 20 times, and that's why I feel like I want to thank you so much for seeing me, like really seeing me, even in all my mistakes and all of my missteps, you still always see me. And that is why I'm so happy that you stuck around.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you grow and your creativity. I mean, you just so. I started out as a fan, and before we became friends. You remember that, right?
Family. We're almost like family to me. You're family to me. So yeah. So I thank you again for just being with me in a perfect time today. Because like y'all, I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I went the Soulful journey today, but I said, well, maybe if I reach out to a friend, that friend will be there. And you have a real friend too when you move or you go through something dire, and that person is still there. And Dana is one of those people. Like when my husband and I, we were moving, she was one of the last people in the house boxing up stuff. And one of my sisters just went through a move, and I know she got to find out who was her real friends and family too, because wow, a lot of people were not there. So it is what it is. So a lot of the times we find out those things, and you don't even have to look somebody in the eye because they may not even be close to you to look at them. But when you are around somebody that you question, I still feel like it's important to try to not make judgments though, but to ask them. But everybody's not going to be transparent, and that's what I hate. They're just not, they're not going to be that. It's not in them.
This is like, you have to let people be who they are, and you just either can be in that energy or not. Sometimes people just don't agree with you. I mean, everybody's different. So sometimes you just move on to find your tribe, right?
Yeah. But when I was growing up, do you remember these songs? There were so many songs about friendship, and I don't know, somebody put it in chat if there's some songs about friendship now, but you already know, like when we were going on, like I was like, that's what friends are for, keep smiling. And then it was Houdini. We just lost Houdini this year to another realm. He was saying friends. Remember that? Yeah, how many of us have them? Friends, right? Ones you can depend on. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Before we go any further, let's be friends, right? So I look up that song if you don't know. And then there was another song that Jody Wiley and Rakim, they were the first to ever do a hip hop R&B solo, and I think that's like some true hip hop history a lot of people don't know. And they were doing a song called About Friends, and that was like so cool too, because they were talking about friends. So friendship is it's really it's not always easy, and social media don't make it no better, because sometimes we forget like the people who are our real friends. And if they're not on social media, have you ever, I mean, we all have a tendency to be like, yeah, but we're my real friends ain't on here, but it's two different worlds. I mean, do you know what I mean by that, Dana?
Definitely. I mean, because social media is a world of likes and thumbs up and comments, fire, fire, you're beautiful, whatever. But in real life, the people that are, like you say, there for you, that's the real stuff. You get sick, you know what? If you,
Who's gonna
seen
be there?
Really,
you need more than a like, right?
I've seen people
you need more than a like.
Yes.
Yes.
And not be able to post because they weren't well, and it's almost like they come back on after they get out the hospital, like, well, how come nobody, I missed y'all, did y'all miss me? I mean, it's almost like you out of sight, you didn't post, you
out of sight, out of mind for some people, right? And
so
especially for the empath who is sensitive, right? We have to be mindful of that too, right? And just remember, who is going to who brings you peace, right? Going back to the beginning of that quote. So that's real.
But it makes you feel good when you get the likes. That's it's very it lures you in because it feels good. It feels like validation in a way, and but then there's a double-edged sword. Suppose then you don't get the likes because you're whatever or someone says something dumb. So it's almost like I stay away from it because it's just not my forum, because it's too superficial for me. It's just way too superficial.
Yeah.
So I probably should do my business. It's probably really a good tool for my business, and I probably will get more into that side of it. But as far as personally, I don't. You notice I stay off a lot.
Yeah, and right, because it can be anxiety producing, and for those of us who already have anxiety, I mean, you have to be you just got to be careful with it and just focus on what matters most.
Yeah.
And so I have one more question I wanted to ask you, and then maybe we will close with any other, unless there's any other thing. A couple questions. Is there a book that ever changed your life?
I would say, I mean, there's several books. I mean, I like to read. I mean, Zora Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Are Watching God. That was like a book I've read so many times. It's just like such a beautiful book. Maya Angelou, all of her, I mean, series of her life story. I mean, I read that book and all of them, and it just, as I was going through a lot of stuff at that time, she's lived her life, so I felt, what she's done some things and she's transcended, so it gave me hope, like, what, I can do it too. So I would say Maya really changed. Angelou, she really did change. That was a very important series of books for me, reading those at the time I was reading it.
Yeah. So you're talking about why the cage bird sings, probably.
Yeah.
That autobiography. Okay.
Gathered Together in My Name, Singing and Swinging and Getting Married Like Christmas. She had like all different stages of her life. She had like, I think 4 or 5 books.
She did. She did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And
sounds great. Like, okay, one more question then. I haven't asked this in a while, and it's a staple for this show. If you were, I'm not sure. Well, here's it. I'll just say it. Okay. If you were to have something imprinted on your headstone or your tombstone, what would it be?
I guess I would like to have my legacy be like I was a helper, and that I was a light for people, like, that, because that's what I enjoy doing. And so that I really did make an impact and be remembered for that, that I was a helper and it could help heal and take care of people.
But what if you had to say it in like maybe 5 or 6 words, like a 6-word story?
She's a kind nurturer by nature and full of love.
Kind, nurturer by nature. Kind and nurturer by nature, full of love. All of those things sound like you. Yes, you are all those things.
Maybe, but I wasn't expecting that question. I don't know.
Okay, no, I love it. So I just see you as a natural healer too, and you really are. And so thank you for being on the show and for just being you, Dana L. Arthur, the empath that you are.
You too, girl. Love you.
I love you too. And I just wanted to say for everybody who is listening, like, again, is there another way that people can keep in contact with you, or do you want to share a picture of your dog? I know your dog gives you brings joy to your soul and heart and soul. Doesn't your dog have an Instagram?
She has Instagram, yes. Maikai 0417. She was her birth year. So, and that's where I have her charms. A spirited pup, is my little shop, Etsy shop for that. And then I have my website for my jewelry, and that's Dana L. Arthur, ARTHUR.com. And that's on the web. That's my website.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad everybody has a means of ways to stay in contact with you. So
yeah, and I'm on Facebook. If you want to follow me or friend with me, that would be great. Anybody?
Well, thank you for being here for me today. And yesterday was Girlfriend Day, so this is perfect. And National Girlfriend Day, so this is perfect. We got DanaLArthur.com if you want to know more about Dana and all of the creative things that she's doing in the world. And she is she has so much more to tell, but I'm going to let her tell it in her own time. This is a true survivor here. Oh my gosh, you all have no idea, but she is an amazing example of an overcomer. And I love her so much. So thank you again, Dana. So until next time. Mwah. All right, so that's been our wow, this is an amazing episode. We're starting back up with Courageous Conversations, and my name is Venus Jones. I'm a former professor of English and communication, and I'm still a poet and an author. And I'm just so grateful to be able to highlight people who are good for the soul, like Dana. I will be drumming up social change on Insight Timer. If you don't have that app, make sure you download it. I'll be drumming up social change on this Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will have we'll continue this conversation with Journaling Your Journey on Clubhouse at 9 a.m. This Friday Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you can join us. If you want to learn more about me, make sure you visit me at Venus Love Jones and click on the link in my bio on Instagram or Twitter, and you can find all of my link trees and all of the different places, but always feel free to visit venusjones.com. I'd like to end this with the way that with a quote that I always love to say, and it really and that quote is, keep looking up and keep looking out, because when you do, there's a lot less fear and a lot less doubt. And I'll see you next time This is Venus. Peace.